Okay, so thank you for joining me again. Okay, I'm really glad that you're here with me. If you are watching, again, thank you. Anyway, regardless, I'm just, I hope this is useful. This video, for me is a very important subject matter, and I hope that you'll find it useful as well. Okay, I am very keen to share this insight because having lived a life that's been marred by trauma from a young age till now, I think, I would love to be able to leave something that may be able to help people who who are younger generations, and even people who are alive now, okay, in some way. Right, we've got to stop satanic practices on this planet. Okay, we've got to stop satanic practices and open up secret societies like Freemasons and Rosicrucians, all these we've got to try and open them up if we can. I'm not saying this, I'm not being condemnatory towards people who are in these secret societies at all, because everybody's got a story and it all matters. There's always richness and beauty in all of it, okay? And there's something to get from everything, okay? And so, there's something to appreciate about people, about another person, again, not about individuals. This is about the dynamics in our world and things that have not been acknowledged publicly, and also the trauma and the abuse and the abuse, the dynamics that we have on this planet. This is what this is about, okay? So, as some of you know, I channel messages. I went into meditation about a couple of hours ago, and I received some beautiful messages in spirit from God and our guides and all that is. Gorgeous messages, which I'll go into at another point, okay? Hopefully. But for now, I want to focus on Nephilim. And during my meditation, I was given the number 7. Okay, and I wasn't sure what it represented at the time, although I heard something about dying, okay, and it didn't make sense to me at the time. But then after the meditation wrapped up and all those wonderful things that I received, which I will share, okay, I will share, because I hope it might inspire people to go into their consciousness, or it might even just in other ways, God knows, okay. And so after that, I went to create a voice memo because I was drawn to think about Nephilim. Nephilim, I've mentioned before, they are very lustful entities in the astral realm, giant, big, much bigger than humans, much bigger than human males. Although I think they can be female as well. They're much bigger in proportion, very lustful. They like to seduce you. They can doppelgang people as well. They try to merge with you through sex, okay? Sexual energy. I've had quite a few experiences of them doing this to me on the astral, okay? Quite a few experiences, okay? Which is unfortunate. And I wasn't sure, again, I'm not going to go into it, okay? But again, it is so, okay? So, okay. Right. And so I was meditating on this, and I'm speaking about it in a voice memo on my phone, which is, again, it's been stored and saved. And I started to probe further. And initially, I was thinking about the phenomenon, because the phenomenon has become really clear to me, that they try and trigger people with memories, thoughts, emotions. They try to trigger you. They really try to trigger you. They try to deceive. They try to cause intrusive thoughts. They try to steer you away, from your path. They try and control people. However, like I said before, they're like the bad cops, okay, of this rule set, so to speak. They have their role. So in that sense, they're also what I believe is an AI hive race, okay? They're an AI hive race. And within that hive race are Nephilim, Watchers, Ahriman, Baal, Lucifer, Greys, Mantis beings, Mantids, Reptilians. Okay? So they're all in this AI hive consciousness, so to speak. Okay, and they were mentioned in the Bible. So I was probing into the Nephilim. I was given a vision a couple of times. Sorry, forgive me. I'm channeling as I'm speaking. It's really tough because I'm channeling as I'm speaking, and and I've had visions of these giants holding up kids. Okay, so this one particular vision I had was of a guy, a male Nephilim, that was very big. Okay, one, much, again, not huge, but bigger than an average male, and he was holding up a kid, and I didn't like it. Okay, I didn't like the energy of it. I felt that weird lustful energy coming from it, and I didn't like it. Okay, and something intuitively was guiding me. Sorry, to something was forgive me again, I'm channeling as I'm speaking. Something was prompting me to question this, because it something rang a bell in my unconscious mind, I think, or just in my consciousness. Something was triggering me to go further, because I didn't like it, and it made me wonder about a few other things. Anyway, so I had looked to the side, and on my notepad, which I write my messages on, I saw the number 7. And I was drawn to look at it. In that moment, I was taken back to when I was 7 years old. And I had a fringe at that time. And a lot of things in my family happened after this point, which is interesting timing, okay? But anyway, back to the vision. I had a fringe at that time. And I had this vision of myself in this false light, which is what they are, false light beings. Okay, you heard about false light. It's true, they are false light beings. And so I was in this light, and I was this Nephilim, this male, like, they had me. I don't know if it was in a dream. I think it likely was in a dream, but I didn't like it. Okay, there was a feeling that there was possibly something abusive that happened there, and I don't want to dig into it. Okay? I don't want to dig into it, because I already kind of know. I have a good sense of what happened there, okay? And I don't want to go into it anymore. What I'm trying to say is with that, and it was a moment of perfect recall, okay? Perfect recall. And what I'm trying to say is that these beings prey on kids and people. Also people who are, who are open consciously, okay, through consciousness, but they prey on people, they prey on kids, okay? They prey on adults too, like I said, because I've had plenty of experiences with them, but they prey on the people whose consciousnesses are still quite plastic, which kids are, and they're more open spiritually. Okay, and they prey on them. I have the distinct impression that they do this to, it's not just me, it affects lots of different kids, lots of kids. And it makes me feel pretty sick to my stomach, to be honest with you. Thinking about this stuff. What I'm trying to say, as I've said before, is that there are unseen things on this planet, hidden influences, which are influencing people to do things and experience, and, like, first of all, cause trauma. Okay, so sexual trauma or other things, and also the phenomenon influences people in other ways, causes them to do things, or causes conflict in other ways. Okay, so it's not just that type of abuse; it could be other things as well. Okay, that might happen, but they cause a lot of sexual, abuse in kids. Like they can basically sow the seeds in kids that they feel, that they end up suffering a lot over the course of their lives in that sense. Because I'll tell you why I think this happens. Because if you traumatize a kid, you basically have access, they're an access point to you. Okay, for these beings, again, MK Ultra, the program I was inducted into, whatever. I mean, the use of trauma to cause neuroplasticity and other these, again, that use of trauma, it basically means that you're more easy to manipulate or easy to traumatize again and again. You're louche for them. Okay, and like I said, when I was a kid, when I was a kid, I was traumatized many times, like many times. I mean, you know, I went through a lot of trauma as a kid. And again, I'm not the only person who's been through that. But, you know, but what I'm trying to say is that, like, if they get you when you're a kid, you're more easy